Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Just playing some instrumentals of some Shabbat songs, Yom Zel Yisrael. This day for the Jewish people, the people of Israel. Ora v'simcha, may it be a light and a joy. I was playing Shabbos, 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 Shabbos auf die ganze Welt, Yiddish. Shabbos for the whole world. We need a pause. We need a deep breath, I think. So I want to start with that deep breath tonight. Another one. Now, page 1 in Shirat Avraham, the additional soul that we get on Shabbat. Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman, Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman, Mishoch Avdecha, El Retzonecha, Mishoch Avdecha, Yadadadadadadad, El Retzonecha. Yarutz Avdecha Kemo Yishtachavei Yadadadadadadad El Mul Hadarecha. We're going to go to page 5. Psalm 96. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Barech U'Shemo, Pasru Miyom Leyom Neshuato, Zafru V'Goyim Kevodo, B'chol ha'amim niflotav, Ki gadol Adonai, U'mulal me'od, Lo ra'u, Al kol Elohim, Ay, Ki kol Elohei ha'amim elilim, Ha'adonai shamayim asa, Hod ve'hadar lefanav, Hod ve'tiferet be'mikdasho. Avul Adonai mishpechot amim, Avul Adonai kavod ha'oz, Avul Adonai kevod shemo, Ze'u mincha, Kol echad zrotav, Ay, Yishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kilu mipanav kol haaretz. Imru v'Goyim Adonai malach, Avtikon tevel ba'al timon, Yadinamim v'nesharim, Yishru hashamayim v'tagel haaretz, Yiram hayam u'velo, Yalo Sadai v'chol asher bo, Aviranenu kol ha'tzeyar mipnei Adonai kiva, Yishbok ha'aretz, Yishbok tevel b'tzedek, ve'amim ve'elulato, Ay, Page 8. Or Zarua Lat Tzadik, light is sown for the righteous. Or Zarua Lat Tzadik, O Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Tzadik, O זרו על הצדיק וישרה לב שמחה וישרה לב שמחה זרו על הצדיק וישרה לב שמחה וישרה לב שמחה. Page 13, Psalm 29. Mizmor leDavid, Avu l'Adonai b'nei, Avu l'Adonai, kavod va'oz, ay, Avu l'Adonai, kevod shemo yishpach, Avu l'Adonai, ve'adron kodesh, kol Adonai, al hamayim el hakavod, irim, Adonai, hamayim rabim, kol Adonai, ba'koach, ay, kol Adonai, ve'adar kol Adonai, shover arazim, v'shaber Adonai, et arzei halvanon, v'yarkirem kemo egel, Lebanon, ve'siryon, kemo ben re'emim, ay, kol Adonai, kotzev lavot esh, kol Adonai, yachir midbar, yachil Adonai, midbar kadesh, kol Adonai, yechol el ayalot, vayechesof, ye'arot, u'hechalot, kulo omer kavod, ay, Adonai, lama bu yashav yishev Adonai, melech leolam, Adonai oz, le'amo yiten Adonai, yevarech et amo v'shalom. Hey, nay, Page 15, L'Chadodi. L'Chadodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'Chadodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad, ish v'yanu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'lilah. L'Chadodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor habreracha, ve'rosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila. L'Chadodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'Chadodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Yamin u'shmol tifrotzi, ve'et Adonai taritzi. Aliyah men arti, v'nifrecha ונגילה לחתות לקראת קלה יללי 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 בני שבת נקבלה לחתותי לקראת קלה יללי 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 בני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצור עולה טוב אמונה עם סגולה בואי כלה לחתותי לקראת קלה יללי 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 בני שבת נקבלה לחתותי לקראת קלה יללי 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 בני שבת נקבלה. And we say to any mourners in our midst, Hamakom Lechem Lechem B'tok Shar V'lei Tzion V'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you with all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. Psalm 92, page 19. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון ובחינות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Tzadika tamar yifrach, ka'erez balvanon yizkeh, shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Od yenuvun beseva, deshenim v'ra'ananim yehu lehagid, Yashar Adonai tzuri velo avlatabo. Adonai melach geot lavesh, lavesh Adonai azit azar, aftikon tevel ba'al timot, nachod kisacha me'ez me'amata, nasu nerot Adonai, nasu nerot kolam, yisu nerot ochyam. Mi'ikolot mahim, mayim rabim adirim, mishpereyam, adir bamarom, Adonai Edotecha Ne'emenu me'od Ve'techa nava Kodesh Adonai Le'orech yamim. We skip down to page 23, Ma'ariv Aravim, skipping the Baruch Hu without the presence of a physical minion. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim. Ben Yom Laila, Mufti Ben Yom Laila, Adonai Tzot Shemo, V'chai v'kayam, Tamid Yimloch, Le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, HaMa'ariv Aravim. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadatam. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu be'orech yameinu, u'vahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla. Be'avatcha al tasir, imeinu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 25, El Melech Ne'eman. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha, b'chol nafshecha, b'chol me'odecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta ba'am, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'aderech, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, ולטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך. We continue silently, 27 to 29. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 32. Malchutov ratzon kulehem, Shevet Yisrael chanashira b'simcha rabba, v'yamru kulam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Torah tehilot, ol sefer Seifele Mahutech hara'u lanecha Bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe Ze'eliyahu ve'amru Adonai yimloch ve'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai ga'al Yisrael. 1, 2, 3, 4. Say, fella. rather than Hashkivenu tonight, from the Hashkivenu, I'm going to sing a song from Daniel Friedlander and Jeff Klepper. Haporei Sukkot Shalom, about spreading over us the sukkah of your peace. It's a beautiful song, although I haven't played it in years, so it may not be so beautiful. I didn't practice it, but it's just striking me right now. Baruch atah Adonai Haporei Sukkot Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim Baruch atah Adonai Haporei Sukkot Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all the people, Israel, over Jerusalem, and over all humanity. Amen. All right, we turn now to the Vashamru. You can rise if you want, if you're in your homes. Page 34, Covenant of Shabbat. Vashamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We now pause for the private Amidah, pages 37 through 48. shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imnu. Shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imnu. Amen. All right, we pause now for an American Jewish historical figure. And given what is happening in the world, I'm going to tell you about somebody who I imagine most of you haven't ever heard of, but you've heard of a phrase of his. And in this effort to continue to uplift black voices, I want to tell you about a black Jew who you probably, as I mentioned, have never heard of. And if you have, you probably didn't know he was Jewish. His name is Nathaniel Montague, but he is known better as Magnificent Montague, which was the name that he chose for himself as a DJ, an R&B disc jockey. He was born in New Jersey in 1928, and he was a DJ first at WWRL in New York City, and then KGFJ in Los Angeles. He promoted all kinds of soul music records and helped really the careers of many different artists. But he was known especially for his trademark phrase, which was "Burn, baby, burn," which referred to music when he coined the phrase. I imagine he got it from someone else, but that's what he used to say about good music. But it became the rallying cry of the Watts riots in 1965. And everybody was going around repeating this, "Burn, baby, burn." It then, of course, became the refrain in the song by the Tramps in the 1970s, Disco Inferno, which I don't actually know for a fact, but I imagine was probably a reference to both the rioting and to the music. Anyway, following criticism that phrase had stirred up riots, Montague, who was a very peaceful man and was an advocate of nonviolence in many different avenues, he urged young listeners to pursue their education, and then he would say, "Learn, baby, learn," instead. Now, he was sort of retired by the 1970s, but he relocated to Palm Springs, California, where he helped launch a new station, an easy listening station called KPLM. And his was actually the first radio station in history that got a construction permit issued to an African American, or at least the first one in 4 decades. Also, that same catchphrase was used by others. It was referenced in the Apollo 11 software code that took America to the moon in the 60s, "Burn, baby, burn, master ignition routine." And that was referenced and mentioned by many of the astronauts. He published his autobiography, "Burn, Baby, Burn," in October of 2003. He also, for 50 years, he and his wife, Rose Thaddeus Castellan, acquired a collection of African-American visual culture, historical artifacts, and documents known as the Montague Collection, and they are on display not in New Jersey, not in New York, not in Palm Springs, not in Los Angeles, but actually at the Museum of Florida Florida A&M in Tallahassee, Florida. And as far as I know, he is still alive and living in Las Vegas. There's not much or anything that I could find written about his Jewish journey, although I have not read his whole autobiography. It might be something to think about. He did convert to Judaism at some point in his life. I don't know when, I don't know the circumstances, but he was a proud Black American, a proud Jewish American, and made an impact in so many different ways. So that is Nathaniel Magnificent Montague. Our service will now continue with the Aleinu, page 57. If you are at home and want to rise, now would be the time. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'aktet gedula liotzer reshit, shelo asanu k'koyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu, shehu notei shamayim veyoser haaretz, ומשה יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגוב מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשיבותה אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחת אין עוד. כך כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. At this time, we lovingly recall the memory of those whose yortzites, the anniversary of their deaths, fall during this coming week. We're thinking of the following people today: Lee Aronson, Ray Bain, Ida Nathan Barnett, Diana Bereskin, Kathy Beglowski, Coleman Bloomfield, Haya Blumenkrantz, Nathan Brody, Robert Davis, Jenny Epstein, Anne Frankel, Jack Gerber, Vivian Glick, Minnie Goldstein, Kenneth Gordon, Albert Gould, Hyman Gurman, Harry Henkin, Bernice Hanno, Cy Harris, Lina Kobutskaya, Raymond Mogul, Fanny Nagar, Sophie Podolsky, Henry Reingold, Anna Riskin, Martin Rockmaker, David Rosenzweig, Leo Sellinger, Sidney Schaefer, Lippy Streifer, Morris Unterberger, Morris Weiss, Joseph White, David Yaron. Memories of all of them with us. We ask all those who are in mourning, observing yortzeit, anyone who wishes to go ahead and recite Mourner's Kaddish along with me at your homes. Page 61. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chedechol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav izman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivorach le'olam lo me'omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha v'richu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'imroma, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Zichronam livracha, may the memory of the people you're thinking of tonight be a blessing to you always. And let us say, Amen. Some announcements. Tomorrow, Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m., stream from here. Also, there's a Shabbat Mishpacha tomorrow. I think it's at 10:15. It's available via Zoom. Saturday night, I will be streaming Havdalah from my home. And Sunday morning is our annual meeting, also available via Zoom. All right, we're going to conclude with a song that comes from Pirkei Avot called Al Shlosha Divarim. The world stands on three things. The version that most of us are more familiar with is the version of Shimon HaTzadik, Simon the just, or Simon the righteous, who said the world stands on three things: on Torah, on worship, and on deeds of loving kindness. This is Shimon ben Gamliel's version, which says that the three pillars are justice, truth, and peace, quoting Zechariah chapter 8, verse 16. Seemed appropriate for this week. The world rests on three things: on justice, on truth, and peace. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם ועל האמת ועל השלום, על הדין ועל האמת ועל השלום. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים.